West is just like Dolly Parton. She ride my spaceship till she hit the top. That hit the spot till she asks how many licks do it take till she get the shot. Don't worry about my wrist, that's so free. Tell a girl like Doritos, that's nacho cheese. Tell a friend.
Pugs Moran, thebarlive.com, alongside Jimmy Ryan and Sam the Mailman for a Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday, May 2nd. All you communists celebrating May Day, get back into your holes. You got 364 more days to go until you're allowed out again. This hour, we're going to be talking about a couple of things, all female related. This is a very let's talk about the chicks kind of show today, which is fine. I think that's what this needs to be. We're going to get into Kate Upton. We all know who Kate Upton is, Sports Illustrated swimsuit and cover model. Just a gem.
Yeah.
I mean, real.
I've never seen her. Let me look her up.
You've never seen her.
I was I'm usually not somebody who knows these people, but I go on Reddit, reddit.com a lot, and
She's very popular with the masses because she seems like such a cool chick.
yes, she's been basically that's like Reddit's girlfriend, like, essentially. Like the second
Nerds
that
love
comes
her.
out, yeah.
You know why nerds love her?
Why is that?
Because she's the hot chick that would have been nice to the nerds in high school.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And it is very rare.
It is very rare. And it is very rare that someone, I mean, this body on Kate Upton was built for pleasure. It was absolutely designed for lust. She is. And she's got such a bubbly, kind of sweet-natured kind of, I don't care, I just have fun. Okay, don't be so uptight. She's not a prude. She's not. There are videos of her all over the place. And this is why people love her. Because, first of all, she's strikingly beautiful. And since she appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated, she's become a bit of a celebrity. And because of that, we live in the video age. People have captured her just being a normal person, doing, like, things that a cool normal person would do, you know? Like, there's a lot of pictures of her, like, in the crowd. She goes to a lot of Miami Heat games with her friends, like her and, like, a couple other really beautiful 22-year-old girls in Miami. There's always pictures of her, like, dancing with the
Dougie.
mascots. Yes,
That's what got her really, really well known.
Yeah, she's got a very famous video out there of her doing the Dougie.
Mm-hmm.
So along those lines, Kate Upton has done another dance video, this time with a fashion photographer. We'll talk about this. Terry Richardson is the fashion photographer. Basically, it's her in a really tiny bikini doing this, like, crazy dance, and you know, she's shaking and she's moving, and YouTube has decided to ban the clip. It's too sexy. You can see it on my Facebook page, John Pugs. Got an Insta poll there asking the question, is this too sexy? We'll talk about that. I also, what else did I want to get into? There was something else, some other girl related thing that I wanted to get into, but I'll tell you what, we'll figure out what that is a little bit later. Look at that, Sam pulled up Kate Upton's
she's
Sports
hot.
Illustrated. She's not only hot, but she's, man, you know what? Like,
She's perfect, actually.
Brooklyn Decker is hot. Bar Raphael is hot. But Kate Upton is better because those other two drips don't seem to have a personality other than, I'm Leonardo's girlfriend. You know, like that. Like, look at me, I'm on a yacht in Saint-Tropez. Look at my face. Kate Upton seems like the kind of girl that you could shoot hoops with in the driveway, you know, on Thanksgiving. She's your hot cousin who's, like, really normal.
Yeah, and if she didn't want to shoot hoops, she wouldn't ask for somebody to go get her a chair. She would sit down on the cement and just watch the game.
Yeah.
You know?
She's also related to somebody famous, though. I don't know who it is. There is somebody that is like, it's her uncle or something. You're like, oh, really? But it's not somebody that's, like, famous, like, well, that explains how she got famous. It's somebody with fame, but not, like, juice to make anybody else in their family famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's some weird thing, like, you know, she's New York Yankee manager Joe Girardi's niece. You know, it's something like that.
Right.
You know, she's not like Brad Pitt's sister or anything. But there's some. I keep wanting to say it's Pat Riley. You know, Pat Riley of Miami Heat, LA Lakers fame, all that. At any rate, Kate Upton, we'll get into that, and we'll talk about the video, and we'll let Sam and Jimmy watch the video, and we'll decide whether or not it's too sexy or not.
You know, I understand. Even if I think that this is like just a publicity thing, kind of like I think that you were saying earlier. But even if YouTube was watching this video and just saw it, I almost understand why they say that. There are very few. I don't think that there are any other girls that can simply dance and make it too sexy. But that was better than porn.
It was better. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was, for me, it was better than porn, but I also think that the Victoria's Secrets catalog is better than Hustler.
Yeah.
I prefer there be something left to the imagination. That's, I mean, sex and passion and all of that stuff. Sure, physical is a big part of it, but for me, the bigger part of it is the psychological. It's what's going on. It's how are you? My mind, my mental state. What's going on here? Because quite honestly, I don't care how hot you are. If my mental state isn't in the game, I'm not going to be able to function.
Right.
You know, I've got to be stimulated somehow other than just, oh look, another hot naked girl.
Right. Yeah, and there has to be something else to it. At least something that you're working towards. You know, if you're working towards something, then even then you have something in there. You can work for it.
Speaking of hot girls getting whatever they want as we broadcast you live from the Sunbrew House. Oh, Sam, look at that, huh? Isn't she just built for pleasure?
Looking at this picture, her face isn't as hot, man, as it in that Sports Illustrated picture.
Oh, no,
I mean, she's got a hot body, but...
Oh, no. You're wrong. I'm gonna call Trump on that.
Hey, it's my opinion. I'm entitled to it.
Look at how much fun she's having.
No,
she's
that's
not
not
uptight.
It's not an opinion. You're just actually dead wrong on this one.
No, it's my opinion. I mean, she's hot, but...
Yeah, no, we're going to have to overrule you there. You're from now on
Sorry.
going to have to say she's pretty. We've told you that, no, you are incorrect. Come on, you're embarrassing yourself more than a pregnant woman.
No, I'm
giving a
not.
bar
It's
to
just she's got a
dance.
hot body. I said she's pretty, but she's not like 100, 100.
Put the sound up. Put the sound up and listen to her. And try not to be distracted by the creepy fashion photographer who's going, no, that's it, bounce a little bit more.
That's another thing is that she's not.
Hold on, let's listen to it.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kate Upton demonstrating the
Cat Daddy.
Take it away, Kate. All right.
Okay, go.
Hit it, go far.
You can go to my Facebook page, John Pugs, if you want to see it. We're just going to watch her. I wouldn't know what to do with a girl like that. I would not know what to do. I mean, look, we're at the Sunbrew House, probably a house that has seen more attractive women than any other non-$5 million house in this part of town. I mean, sure, I bet you there's some Stars or Mavericks players who have had a parade of hot chicks come in and out. But this house has certainly seen its fair share of hot girls walking around in bikinis, yes? With all due respect to the Sunbrew bikini models, who I believe are the absolute best team of girls in the entire state of Texas, and being in radio for the last 10 years, I've seen all the promo modeling teams. I have seen them all. There's a reason that we stuck with Sunbrew, because they are the absolute best. They are the cream of the crop. There isn't a Sunbrew girl in the history of Sunbrew that can even come within 2 points of Kate Upton.
No.
There's just not. She's just on another level.
Yeah, and that's not a shot. It's because Kate Upton is a 12. So if you're a 10,
she broke the scale.
Yeah,
she did. She broke. We had to change the scale,
Yeah.
the bell curve. We had. Unfortunately, she's making it a lot harder for everyone else just by being alive. All right, so
Yeah.
we'll get into that. Probably towards the end of the show, we'll tell you exactly what's going on there and how I think it's all just a huge scam to get Kate Upton's name out there more, which I'm all for. It. She seems like a wonderful girl. Why not?
Yeah.
Stop talking about the Kardashians. They seem awful.
yeah, give her. I'll watch this.
I'll watch her. I'll watch her if just, every now and again she'll just like start dancing like that. She's so sexy and so cute. And she just seems so unaffected by all the attention. She seems like just
Yeah.
kind of a normal, everyday girl.
Well, because most in this video,
Which she is not.
this guy could easily be considered a creep to a girl like her. She could have been like, "Oh my God, seriously, put the camera down. I'm gonna leave the room." But instead, she just always seems to be kind of joyful.
Yeah, well, he is like a really famous fashion photographer.
Oh, is he?
Although he looks like, Sam, you saw the guy, right?
Yeah.
He looks like any number of guys shooting porn out of their house.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah.
like a creep. 50 years old, thin, wearing a Hawaiian shirt with a ponytail. He looks like Ed Powers. If anybody knows who Ed Powers is, the old porn producer, that's who he looks like. All right, but
Her uncle, by the way, is really the only thing it says in her bio is her uncle is a U.S. representative from Michigan.
That's
State
it.
District.
Yes. Her uncle's a congressman.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, I remember somebody there. I knew it was somebody that couldn't really get her famous, but it was interesting that she had, somebody in her.
It's good to see that the people we've appointed to government are at least doing something good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on now to a story that I wanted to talk about here. If you're a sports fan and you use the ESPN.com website for your sports knowledge, you might be familiar with Page 2 columnist Sarah Phillips. She would stick out to guys because she's really cute. And you've probably had the same experience that I had when reading her column, where first you see the picture and you go, oh, she's cute. I wonder what she has to say about sports. And then you're blown away by the fact that, wow, she's a legitimate sports writer. She really does know or seems to know what she's talking about. She specializes in gambling lines. She's big on baseball lines, which if you're a gambler, those are the most complicated things to do. She's also very big in the MMA world, which is where I've come to know her. She does a lot of odds and spreads and all that stuff for the MMA world. But she's in a bit of a problem here now. She's been fired, let go as of 6 o'clock yesterday. ESPN.com has gotten rid of their popular columnist Sarah Phillips for a very interesting reason. And that reason is nobody is certain that Sarah Phillips actually exists. This 22-year-old University of Oregon college student / ESPN.com columnist doesn't really exist in the minds of some people. Now, other people say, no, she absolutely exists. She's a real person. I mean, she's been writing for different sites for a couple of years now. She's made her name in this business. Then another person will say, yeah, no, what she is she is an internet meme. She is basically a creation of the internet, or one person in particular, most likely a 40-something-year-old unemployed sports writer who needed a gimmick. So he went and he took an avatar of a really cute 22-year-old girl next door type, a little sister type, you know, not Kate Upton, but definitely, you know, you date and marry her. You know, she's very cute and all that stuff. And he basically is being accused, or they are saying, because this guy doesn't exist. This person that I am telling you about doesn't exist. He's just what some people think is behind this. So I'm going to read you a little bit of this story here. A few weeks ago, ESPN columnist Sarah Phillips concluded her weekly junk mail column with a question from an unnamed reader. Here's the question. Rumor has it Sarah Phillips isn't a real person, and this column is being produced by a ghostwriter. Is this true? Now, here was her response. Phillips responded, I'm flattered to join the ranks of Barack Obama, Elvis Presley, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Tupac Shakur as the subject of great American conspiracy theory. I would also have to add Biggie Smalls to the list, but I'm West Side till I die, yo. In any event, I'm either an alien life form brought to Earth to keep track of Jose Canseco, or I'm a woman named Sarah Phillips who writes sports-related columns and blogs. You decide. In the meantime, take me to your leader. Okay, so she very cavalierly sort of answered that. First of all, here's what I think. I'm still of the belief that she is real.
Because you want to believe.
Well, but
I want to believe after reading that too.
If it wasn't real, you wouldn't even include, like, why would you tempt fate? If a reader of your column was onto your scam, why would you include that? Why would you put that out there? Why wouldn't you just ignore that and keep moving forward as Sarah Phillips? And it also needs to be mentioned that ESPN.com fired her because they took a lot of heat between noon and the 6 p.m. firing yesterday of this girl. Oh, wow. They took a lot of heat because no one at ESPN had ever met her. No one from ESPN had ever had any contact with her other than emails. Nobody called. Nobody talked to this girl. Nothing. They hired her sight unseen because of her work on some other sites. And all of their correspondence was done with email. And now the people at ESPN are saying, wait a second, we hired this really cute 22-year-old good sports writer because she had this gimmick of being really cute. Nobody ever thought to invite her to the Christmas party? Yeah. Nobody ever thought that maybe... Because, I mean, she was being groomed, some say, as the next Erin Andrews. This really cute... She's only 22 years old and still in college. So contributing to the web page is pretty much all that was in the cards for her at this point.
Man, how awkward is that when, you know, she actually, like, they actually set up a tryout for her to do her first, like, live, you know, sports casting or whatever. This guy comes in, hey, guys.
Dude, I come in.
Yeah.
Hi. Is Sarah Phillips for real? That is the question. 13 months ago, she was an unknown message board participant at Covers.com, a gambling website. Then Covers plucked her from the boards and gave her a weekly column sight unseen. 5 months after that, she was tapped by Lynn Hops, an editor for ESPN.com, to write a weekly column for ESPN's Page 2, once the home of venerable writers like David Halberstam, Ralph Wiley, and Hunter S. Thompson, and which has now been rebranded as ESPN's Playbook. The swiftness of her ascent gave her that weird sort of internet half-celebrity whereby she became moderately famous before anyone really knew who she was, or before anyone was sure that she existed at all. So I'm going to leave the story there, okay? Because there are a bunch of other things about how this came to be. It turns out that she was trying to start a website, and she may have scammed some people, and whatever. That's other things, should have nothing to do with it. The interesting thing is that somebody had the idea, or if we are to believe what some of the critics are saying, somebody had the idea to pull this scam where I can't get a job as an unattractive, overweight 40-something-year-old. Nobody cares about my thoughts on life. I'm a 48-year-old unemployed sports writer white guy. There's not a lot of demand for my take on things, you know? I mean, there's not a lot of demand. So you concoct this phony, what is it? Alter ego.
Mm-hmm.
But the hard thing would be, do you think you could write like a 22-year-old girl? You might, because you're closer in that age group.
Well, the thing that
And you sleep with 22-year-old girls, so you might know what they would have to say.
I think that it's not going to take as much thought as you would think, because if you think about what he's doing, the genius of it is that he's not having to write two 22-year-olds.
And again, we're just going along with the criticism.
Right.
We don't know that this guy actually exists.
Yeah. Okay, so in that circumstance, let's say that he is the 48-some-odd-year-old guy. He's writing two 48-some-odd-year-old guys. You know what I mean? So, like,
Right.
as long as he comes off just female enough and kind of quirky and, kind of knows things that your wife may not know or your girlfriend may not know, like, that is definitely, you're gonna bookmark it. Like, you should bookmark that one, because like I would, just because of the picture, I'll be more interested.
Right, and just because of the picture, you'll read the headline and then be more likely to click on it, because
Yeah.
you are now attracted. There is something, and I'm not saying sexually attracted or whatever, but you are being drawn to this specific column for really the picture. You're looking, whoa, she's cute. Let me check what she said. And you won't read the 48-year-old guy that's next to her.
Right.
You're like, yeah, that dude. It's like, what's that? Was he pissed at LeBron again? What's that guy gonna? No, you will read what the girl has to say, or at least you'll give it a couple of sentences. And if it doesn't grab you, you'll leave, and you'll just dismiss her as some dumb chick who shouldn't be writing sports. That's a lot of guys might feel. But if she's good, and guess what? She turned out to be good. She turned out to be a good writer.
Yeah.
People actually read her.
I think that it's almost embarrassing to admit this, but I play this game online called Minecraft. Now, not even 9 times out of 10. This is 99 out of 100 people that play this game are going to be guys, probably in their 20s. Every once in a while, when you're playing this game, you'll see down on the bottom as everyone's chatting, you'll see a female-like name pop up and then just scroll by. And inevitably, everyone piles on. They're like, whoa,
where
where'd
you
you go?
going?
Yeah.
Hey, want to play?
Yeah, so I mean, like, just because you are a little bit different from everybody else, you
Yeah.
are somebody that is a girl that seems to get into sports. What? I mean, this is supposed to be the male domain, and you know what you're talking about.
She has, or at least someone fitting the description of Sarah Phillips, has put out a YouTube page. She's now going video. She's come out. So either the people behind this, and it really does seem like there are people behind this. There are two guys named Nassim and something else, Navin, who are also students at the University of Oregon, who seem involved in this other website that she was trying to start. And they seem, some people are saying it's these two guys, these two brothers in college. They created this phone, and this girl now is just some girl that they cast, you know? And apparently one of the early pictures of her that she put up was traced back to a Hot Chicks with Douches website. So it was just sort of a general picture that somebody took. But I didn't know this. And Sam and Jimmy, you guys are far more involved in the internet media world than I am. But did you know that how these people get paid? Like this girl, this 22-year-old college student who writes for ESPN.com, formerly wrote for ESPN.com. You know how they get paid?
Don't they get paid by like ads and stuff and
Clicks.
yeah, clicks, yeah.
Clicks.
Yeah.
They get paid. Their pay is based on how many people click on their story.
Yeah, and
I don't know if you've seen my new avatar, but she's striking.
yeah,
I mean, if that's really all it takes, this is a genius move.
Mm-hmm.
This is genius. A guy went, well, what's going to get more clicks? My sunburned golf face and a polo tee and bald head, or some really cute 22-year-old girl?
yeah. There's it's actually not the first time that something like this has kind of happened. Where on YouTube, this was right when YouTube was first starting. There was a guy who was basically being one of the first guys to go on there and just talk about his daily life. And he noticed that he was only getting like 3 or 4 views, and most of those were probably him. So he ended up realizing that he needs to get a cute girl in here. And he got a cute girl to go in there and make it look like she's sitting in her room. And they called her Lonely Girl 13. And yeah,
Brilliant.
every single day she would go on there and talk about little issues she's having in life, but she would always kiss you on the way out and things like that. Guys fell in love with her. They would send her messages. They would send her gifts. They would send her everything. And finally, she ended up making the announcement on the YouTube account. Look, guys, I've been cast to do this role.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
For shame. They weren't keeping her happy financially.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think that it was actually planned because she was I think she was going to be doing like an actual show, like a TV show.
Okay.
So she was thinking that she's going to be making this big step up and she has to come out, because she's just an actress. Guys, oh my God. Like the internet imploded. Like they were just so upset by this. Like,
Oh, nerds.
yeah.
Oh.
It was
dream
really
girls.
sad. You just saw nothing but like frowning faces, emoticons going down the comments.
She's still real. She's still a real person. I mean, it's better than, having it not be a real person, it being some kind of computer-generated image
Yeah.
that you guys thought was real. All right, speaking what you think is real, there are certain brands here, transitioning awkwardly at best. There's a story out yesterday about the 5 most damaged brands in America.
Oh.
5 brands that were once impeccable, unimpeachable, just beacons of American, capitalist supremacy that now people go, ugh.
Not long-lasting brands?
What?
Is there any car like Fords, like Ford or Chevys or any of those on
Well,
the list?
let's get to that. I want to talk about the 5 most damaged brands right now. This is from U.S. News and World Report. First one is our hometown airline, American Airlines.
Oh yeah.
They're saying is of the airlines, I believe it's the only one. It is the most damaged. Anybody have any problems with American Airlines?
I do, just because you have these other airlines that seem to have their order, everything in order.
Yeah.
And they're able to make a profit. Southwest at the time was making crazy amounts of profits. I think it was around 2009, after the economic collapse, essentially. And that was when American Airlines started charging for their bags.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, well, maybe that's going to make things a little bit better. And it was no more than, 5-6 months later that they were filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So, and like, that's just, when you see bad decision-making made by a company of that status, yeah, I would hold it against them.
I think any company that is filing for bankruptcy and they have a CEO who makes over $1 million a year,
Yeah.
I think your problems aren't necessarily with the guys loading the bags or the unions that are keeping these people employed and keeping this a viable American industry. Problem isn't with them. Problem is with the level after level of 6-figure blowing middle management and upper management. That's where the problems are. But hey, as long as you can file bankruptcy, you don't have to worry about that. Hey, then go to the unions and plead poor and cut the wages of the average worker. But these guys, these top tier guys, they don't take pay cuts. And if they do, you know what they do? I took a $100,000 pay cut. Yeah, you're making 1.1 million now. It's like a drop in the bucket. It's ridiculous.
And these are the same guys that, had so much stock and most likely unloaded it in those 3 days where the stock just went like that, So they also made a lot of money off of it as well.
Do you know what the CEO of American Airlines should make? Are you ready for this? You know what the salary of the CEO in my world when I take over? $200,000.
Yeah.
$200,000. You're the CEO of American Airlines. $200,000. You can have a nice house in a nice neighborhood, and your kid can go to a Catholic school or a private school.
I mean, president makes what, 250?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not the president of the United States.
Do you know how much money $250,000 a year is?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. But once everything gets blurry, once you get up into these high numbers, 250,000 is nothing when you make 600,000. Well, 600,000 is nothing when you make 1.5 million. 1.5 million is nothing when you make 25 million. You know, it's like everything is like a shell game.
You know, the thing that drives me crazy, and I always talk to my dad about this. You know, he's worked his entire life. He finally ended up getting to that level where he's making a good amount of money. So he moves out of the house that we grew up in, moves into a really nice neighborhood. But now...
Your dad earned it.
Well, yeah, he earned it. He definitely works for it. But now he is in a very nice neighborhood, but in the lesser of the houses. We used to have...
Yeah. Oh, that's the shell game I'm telling you about.
Yeah.
You can buy into the gated community, but then suddenly it becomes a competition to who has the nicest house in the gated community.
Right.
Nobody can ever be happy.
And now he has blinders on. Like, he won't compare that house to his old house. He'll compare it to the one next door. And it's just going to drive him crazy. So, you know, it's never ending.
You can never be happy. You can never be happy as long as you're keeping up with the Joneses. All right, American Airlines is the 5th of the most damaged brands in America right now. Number 4, Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh comes in at number 4 as the most damaged brand.
It's sad to think of him as a brand, too.
He is, though. He certainly is. $100 million a year brand. Talk about what people make every year. It says here, Talkers Magazine crowned Rush Limbaugh king of all radio hosts for 2011. Boy, if that's really what your brand being tarnished means, just last year you were the king of all, fine, I'll take a little tarnishing.
Yeah.
The publication, which tracks the talk show industry, used Arbitron data to put Limbaugh's weekly radio audience at more than 15 million. Fellow right-winger Glenn Beck's audience is 8.5 million. The Drudge Report pegged Limbaugh's compensation package at $400 million between 2008 and 2016. So what's that, 50 million? Wow, that's not bad.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you know, there was the whole Sandra Fluke incident where he referred to her as a whore or a prostitute, and women got all upset. I don't imagine a lot of women were ever listening to Rush Limbaugh, but he did take some damage when it came to major sponsors that moved away and have not moved back yet. One of his big, gigantic, what was the guy's name? It says here, David Friend, I guess is his name. Limbaugh backed down only after his comments were repudiated by several senior Republicans, and a number of national advertisers deserted his show. David Friend, the chief executive of Carbonite, one of Limbaugh's largest advertisers, said, see, that's the other thing. Carbonite, this is what kind of advertisers he has? What happened to Pepsi?
Right.
You know, what happened to Walgreens? What is Carbonite? I don't even know what Carbonite is. You know, they're like Monsanto. They make all kinds of horrible chemicals. You know, they're just this like ghost-like multinational conglomerate, you know, that advertises on the Rush Limbaugh show.
You don't know it, but you work for them.
Yeah. Carbonite. It's not even a commercial. They're not even asking you to buy Carbonite because there is nothing. What is it? You know,
It just says, you will accept us.
you will. Yes. Carbonite. We're always watching. It's something like that. Talk about dystopian. All right. So David Friend, who's the chief executive of Carbonite, says that no one with daughters the age of Sandra Fluke, and I have two, could possibly abide the insult and abuse heaped upon this courageous and well-intentioned young lady. Mr. Limbaugh, with his highly personal attacks on Mrs. Fluke, overstepped any reasonable bounds of decency. All right, so there you have it. That's the reason that they say that Rush Limbaugh, the Rush brand, has met with some erosion, if you will.
You know, it's funny that the guy from Carbonite is like sticking to his guns, but the first person to actually go back to advertising with him was Angie's List, which is run by a girl. So, I mean, like, you know, she's always been very hardcore about like her business and only do things that are good for business. And I guess she thought that was a bad business decision at first, but
well, that's the thing. They will all come back because once again, never overestimate the attention span of the American public.
Oh yeah,
we are outraged for a week at a time, and then we completely forget. People are rooting for Charlie Sheen.
Right.
I mean, this guy was someone who a year ago no one would say a good word about. Oh, the loser, just get rid of. You know what? They'll just throw that guy in jail. Just put him in jail. Take all his money. You ought to just be. You know what? Seriously, we get these drug addicts and these party. Hey, he's got a new show. I can't wait. Looks funny. Yeah, I loved Anger Management. The movie. Those are the exact same people.
Yeah.
We have the attention span of flies. All right, number 5 on the list of the most damaged brands in America was American Airlines. Number 4 was Rush Limbaugh. Number 3, I'm sorry. Here's an interesting one. Greece. The entire nation of Greece.
Oh, I was going to say the actual nation?
The nation of Greece, as a
Wow.
brand in the eyes of the American consumer, is not a place anybody wants to go. Greece used to be, and this is interesting, Greece used to be the number 2 European destination for all American travelers.
Yeah.
Number 1 was Paris. Number 2 was Greece.
Now, is this due to their financial situation? Like their economy?
Entirely. And the fact that the air traffic controllers have all been on strike for like a year. Nobody wants to fly into Greece because they don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, tourism is a major part of. I've always wanted to go to Greece. I always say, you know, that's the kind of thing when I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
And I want to take, you know, when I'm done traveling the world to party,
Right.
When I'm ready to travel the world for experiences and to see other things, I always wanted to go to Greece. The Parthenon, the Acropolis, all of that stuff. Mount Olympus. I want to meet the gods on Mount Olympus. I want to do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And now, not so much. I mean, you see pictures. Have you seen pictures of the Parthenon recently?
Yeah.
It's all spray painted.
Yeah.
How are you going to let taggers spray paint gang signs on the Parthenon?
Yeah, it is. I didn't even think about it, really. I mean, I know that the economy has been bad. They've been constantly battle, basically, in the streets. But,
yes,
man.
there are no services. You know, these austerity measures that they took, which basically means we're broke. And everybody's got to give everything they have if they want to save this country. That's really what's happening here.
Yeah.
The government is saying, but you know what? It is kind of the Greek people's fault. You know, the Greek people, I've never been to Greece, and I've worked for Greek people in the restaurant business back in Chicago.
So you're going to use that to
I'm gonna
cast doubt on the entire
well,
nation?
well, here's the thing. You know, Greek Americans, if you are a Greek who came to America and opened that liquor store and now you've got 15 of them, you are not the typical Greek citizen.
Right.
You're not. The Greek citizen who stays there and doesn't ever come, doesn't have that hunger, that burning desire for a different life. The Greeks who get out, really, it's with any immigrant culture. This is why, you know, I don't understand. We're batting them all back like we don't want them. No, the people who are immigrants are the ones with get up and go. They're the ones that we want here in this country. They're the ones who sat in their own country and went, man, it's going to be really scary moving to another place, not knowing the language, not having a dime. But you know what? I'm going to do it because this sucks here, and I'm going to make something of myself. Those are the people we want.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the ones that are going to hit the ground running. We already talked about how the 18-year-olds that we brought up are doing. So
Yes.
we need to,
Yes.
we're going to have to outsource our insourcing.
Look, you know, every city needs to have a great Greek diner. Every city needs to have a place where at 3 a.m. you can get waffles or lobster. Those are that's what the Greeks do, man. They kick ass. They work hard. They are awful to work for. I hated Ted when I worked for him. Now I love the man. Now it's like I think back. I was a 19-year-old pizza delivery guy. This was a 50-year-old Greek immigrant who came from nothing to build up a chain of restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the a-hole.
Yeah.
You know, he's not the a-hole. I'm the 19-year-old a-hole, and any ill feelings I had towards that guy have long since changed to respect. But yeah, okay, so Greece, basically with all the austerity measures and all of that, nobody wants to travel to Greece. Even the people in the surrounding countries that used to account for 20% of Greece's economy, they're not coming. And you know why I mentioned it? You talk about the spray paint on the Parthenon
Well, and,
or the Acropolis. You know why they're spray paint on these things? Because they don't hire anyone to clean it off anymore because they don't have any money. They don't have money for security guards. These the cradle of democracy, where it was all born from. Some of the most important ancient landmarks that we have are in Greece. We can't protect them. We can't even, the Greek government can't even hire a security firm to stand there and stop kids from spray painting it because you know what? That's $8 an hour and we really don't have any money.
It's insane. It's insane.
So Greece, number 3 on the most tarnished brands, along with American Airlines, Rush Limbaugh, and Greece. This one I have to agree with. This one I love. The New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints football team, who after Hurricane Katrina was everyone in America's second favorite team. Everyone had their team that they always rooted for. Oh, but then, you know what, if my team's limited, I'm rooting for the Saints. The Saints had so much goodwill. They had everyone was rooting for them. Boy, you know, the hurricane hits and Drew Brees comes down here and he sort of re-energizes the community and he stays. And, you know, the community embraced those players. And Sean Payton, you know, he's the new coach. He came and they won a Super Bowl and everybody was so happy. And they rebuilt the Superdome where they played after having 100,000 minorities live there for 2 years, you know, whatever it was. And Saints. Oh, how godly, how wonderful. We all root for New Orleans. Guess what? Turns out they're scumbag cheaters. And nobody likes the New Orleans Saints anymore.
Yeah, and four more suspensions came down today.
Yeah, it should be mentioned. Jonathan Vilma, the most heavy of the suspensions, he's out for the entire year.
Yep.
Entire year.
Now, to be fair, I don't think that everybody feels that way because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that's what every team does, whether it be by the actual organization or whether it be like me, you know, and you sitting in a locker room saying, hey, dude, if you can take out number 22, I'll give you this. If I do it, you know, that's just the way it works in football.
Well, look, that's the way it works in a not so official capacity. The
Right.
reason the Saints are in trouble is because the coaches were running these pools where money was being doled out to players who actually injured other players. And you and I know that football players go out to knock each other's block off. And then when some guy doesn't get up, all the opposing teammates huddle in a circle on one knee praying to Jesus that he gets up. Well, what happened the split second before you laid that hit on him? You know, did you pray to Jesus to really slobber knock him? You know, because now you're praying to Jesus that, you know, he's not hurt. And it turns out that these guys, they wanted to hurt players. They wanted players out. They didn't want to beat the best team the other team could field.
I think because I went to a school, like I said, didn't have very good funding, so maybe it was just our school, but I happen to believe that it was the kids from schools like mine that are now in the NFL. Those are the people that actually ended up making it. The only reason why a couple people in my class didn't make it is because they ended up getting on drugs. You know, so like if they hadn't gotten on drugs, they would have done well. You know, but like when we would knock somebody out, we would go back to the huddle. We would get on one knee, but we would be like, "Hey, dude, good job."
Yeah.
Like, good job, dude.
Right.
Like, we don't have to deal with
We're
that
animals.
guy for the next.
We're all bad people.
Yeah.
We have to pretend that we're good people by gathering in a circle at midfield with our other Christian teammates and praying to Jesus like we hope he's okay. You don't hope he's okay.
Yeah.
This is a camera opportunity for you and your fellow Bible-thumping Christians to get out there in the middle of the field and act like you're superior to the rest of us.
Yeah, and this is so ingrained in the sport that we all love, and then all of a sudden we actually catch wind of it on an official level, and we're like, oh, outraged. No, BS,
Well, but
dude.
it's not only that. It also has to do with the wiring scandal, and the general manager is in trouble. You know about this, right? The second
wiring
one.
scandal.
Oh, you know about the wiring scandal?
Nuh-uh.
Oh, so you're still going off on the
Yeah.
2 month ago Saints scandal.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a much bigger one going on
okay.
right now. Mickey Loomis, the general manager of the New Orleans Saints, is being accused of hiring an electrician to bug the opposing team's coaches' boxes so that during games, Mickey Lewis could sit there and listen to the plays that the other team were calling and then tell his sideline, hey, they're going to pass here, or hey, they're going to do this. New Orleans Saints owner Tom Benson had a team worth $965 million, according to Forbes. That was before NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced that the team's head coach Sean Payton was suspended for a year and general manager Mickey Loomis for 8 games in response to the team's so-called bounty system that paid players to hurt opponents. The suspensions left the team, which had won the Super Bowl in 2010, with a leadership vacuum, which could be exacerbated if some Saints players also are suspended, which we found out today, Jonathan Vilma and a couple others. The Saints' success had come to symbolize the revival of a city that was nearly destroyed by one of the deadliest hurricanes to ever make landfall in the United States. The team stadium, the Superdome, was used to shelter thousands of people during Hurricane Katrina's 2005 storm. Now, Benson has to wait to see if the Saints fans will come out in numbers that they've had since 2006, and whether sponsors will hold their places. He has to wonder whether his team can make the playoffs again without its gifted coach and perhaps some of its key players. All right, it doesn't really go into much about the wiring situation. It really just kind of handles the bounty gate. But yeah, the New Orleans Saints, now in the eyes of the average football fan, you know, they're a dirty team. That's what their image is now. They're a dirty, corrupt football team.
I usually go for those teams, though. Like that's how you win my heart. That's why I'm a Raiders fan. Like I like the ones that no one wants to like, you know, but they're just aggravated when they beat them, you know. So, you know, the wiring thing, I don't agree with that at all. But the bounty thing, I mean, like, of course they're going to put gate on the end of it because they do that with everything. They want to throw into out of proportion, but. You know what? I think the bounties are going to continue to be part of the game if it's something that's worth watching.
Oh, I don't think bounties will be part of the game at all anymore.
I think
it will never be spoken. I don't think so. I don't think players will speak of it. I think there's too much to be lost. Jonathan Vilma is gone for an entire season. He's healthy, and he is losing an entire season. He's losing an entire year of his career, a career which, you know, basic NFL logic tells you that the average length of a career is like 2.5 seasons.
Yeah.
Jonathan Vilma is a good player who's already working on borrowed time. He's been in the league a long time. He can't afford to lose an entire year of eligibility, certainly not to an injury. So he could be kind of screwed here. Mm-hmm. This is not good. All right.
Hey, before you get on, quick death in football that just got announced. Junior Seau, is that his name, was found dead.
No.
They're saying it could be the victim of a shooting. The cops are investigating it in San Diego.
NFL legend Junior Seau. Yeah, definitely a legend. One of the greats to play his position. Wow, he's my age.
Damn.
NFL legend Junior Seau was found dead in his home in Oceanside, California, and cops are investigating a shooting. Multiple law enforcement tells TMZ. Cops are currently at Seau's home just outside San Diego. Seau was 43 years old and leaves behind 3 kids and an ex-wife. Seau was a beast in the NFL. Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was one of the best. Skyrocketing to fame thanks to his explosive play with the San Diego Chargers, Miami Dolphins, and New England Patriots. The USC standout was selected in the first round of the NFL draft in 1990 and played in the league for 20 years. Seau was involved in a car accident back in 2010 when he drove his SUV off a cliff in Carlsbad, California, hours after he was arrested for allegedly attacking his girlfriend. Seau later said he was not trying to kill himself, insisting he had fallen asleep at the wheel. Okay, that's going to be a big story.
Yeah, and
because it's not. He didn't die of a heart attack because he's a retired football player. Mm-hmm. He died of a bullet wound.
Yeah,
that's going to be a big sports story.
And then I know it's TMZ, but everyone else is now reporting it. So I mean, sometimes when TMZ reports stuff, you can't really take it at face value. But
is that true?
I always take TMZ. I think TMZ is one of the best.
I do too.
Yeah. They get it first because they've got so many contributors, so many people. I mean, if something crazy happened here right now with a celebrity or something, we'd film it and send it to TMZ. Where else are you gonna send it?
Yeah.
Jimmy, while you mentioned the Raiders, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they signed Matt Leinart as a quarterback.
Very good.
Yeah.
Talk about a brand that has had some erosion to it. Matt Leinart is a great segue. Yeah. The Chevy Volt comes in here. We've talked about American Airlines. This is a list of brands that have gotten their ass kicked. Basically, brands that do not mean what they once did.
This makes me sad.
Yeah, the American Airlines, Rush Limbaugh, the Nation of Greece, the New Orleans Saints, and now the Chevy Volt. The 8,000 Volt hybrids, or 8,000 hybrids, have been recalled for possible battery fires. Now, why does this upset you so much, Jimmy?
Well, are you looking forward to like electric cars?
Yes.
I'm massively into this, and I've been looking. I mean, like the Chevy Volt was kind of messed around with, or at least the idea was thrown around like 4 years ago, where they were actually talking about it as the Chevy Volt. And this was just so amazing. It was supposed to be like the first time that, this comes out. You're going to see, electric vehicle chargers at the gas pumps. This is going to revolutionize everything. And as it started getting closer and closer,
230 miles per gallon is what the Chevy Volt claimed to be able to give its people.
Yeah, I mean, it was just supposed to revolutionize everything. And then you saw Nissan and a couple others come out with like the Leaf. That they were about to start putting out there because this was supposed to be, the revolution. And it comes out, and the first week, I think that they sold like 102. Like that was, it was like the worst sales of anything. Like they still had some left.
Here's what they need to. Here's the problem. Okay, and we're talking about brand erosion, and they say it's the Chevy Volt that has had brand erosion. No, it's Chevy that has had the brand erosion. If Chevy had created a whole new line, Chevy's GM, right? Yeah, there's GM, there's Ford. Chevy, GM closed a lot of its brands. For instance, there's no such thing as an Oldsmobile or a Pontiac anymore.
Right.
They don't make them anymore. There are no Pontiac dealers. There are no Oldsmobile dealers. Good luck trying to find parts for your Cutlass or your Grand Prix because, they really aren't going to be making them anymore. Chevy should have opened a new brand of electric cars, and they should have used the wealth and the might of the General Motors marketing machine to introduce this new brand to the American public.
Yeah.
When you give us something that's so revolutionary or claims to be so revolutionary as the Chevy Volt was, don't put Chevy on it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
People will give it a cool name.
And on top of that, I think that the whole electric thing is lost on most people still to this day. Even though it is a simple idea, like I think that it's going to be where you have to make the car a completely different experience inside.
Have you ever seen the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car? Okay. Have you seen the sequel to it, Revenge of the Electric Car?
No.
Okay. I was kind of hoping that you had seen this. It was on last week on Kira, American Perspectives or Frontline or one of those. They showed the documentary Revenge of the Electric Car, which is basically where Who Killed the Electric Car
Dropped
ended.
off.
Yeah. Who Killed the Electric Car was a great documentary about people who attempted in the 1990s to switch us over, get us off foreign oil, get us off oil dependency in general, and sort of move our auto industry in a more electric direction. And was it Ford who had the EV1? I think that was the first one, the electric vehicle one that came out in like 1995. Massive, massive disaster. Lost a whole lot of money. Well, Revenge of the Electric Car basically picks up where that took off 10 years later. And it talks about how, hey, maybe it wasn't time in 1995, but now here we are in 2010. It's time. And they profiled all these electric car manufacturers. Every major car manufacturer in the world has a multi-billion-dollar electric car project going on.
Wow.
Every single one of them. And it was part of the deal with the evil bailout of General Motors that they would move in this direction. And the Chevy Volt was supposed to be the American car maker's entree into the world. It was supposed to be something that was going to give the Prius a run for its money. Who makes the Leaf? Is that Nissan? What do you think of those?
I just because it's electric, I think it's great. So it has a lot
Tesla?
of cool features.
Tesla is another non-affiliated electric car maker, and Tesla is making some really nice cars.
Yeah.
Isn't the Prius doing good?
Prius doing very well. Yep, and it was because the Prius did so well, especially in the American market, that Honda introduced one, and Nissan now had, and everybody went, okay, so Americans will buy.
And those are hybrids, though. They don't do
right. They're not fully electric. Yeah. So the Volt, apparently, they didn't sell as many as they wanted. They claimed that they were going to sell 10,000 of these vehicles in the first year. They ended up only selling 7,000, so they were below there. And then, here's what I don't understand. They only sold 7,000, but they're recalling 8,000.
Oh, well.
Apparently, every single car, because you got to figure there's a number of them that are dealer demos and that weren't actually sold and given away. Every single car that came off that production line has batteries that explode.
Wow. And this was the number one issue with people before this came out. When you would talk to people about the possibility of getting one of these things, they were like, you talk to the guy who's the salesperson who always wants to get you into a car, but even he would nudge you and be like, hey, dude, we don't know how these things are going to work.
Well, they don't.
Yeah.
But that is the problem, and that is really our own human shortcoming, that we do not allow. We want things instantly to be perfect.
Right.
We want to get off foreign oil, but we don't want to have to put up with the problems that are inherent with new technology, which is going to come with an electric car.
We're so American, we don't even want to deal with frustrations of moving forward.
No. go. The Chevy Volt was supposed to be the start of a revolution in automotive technology. The car was launched in September of 2008 by General Motors, who a short time later lost his job, the CEO, due to the automaker's dire financial straits. When the Environmental Protection Agency issued new methods of measuring mileage efficiency in 2009, the Volt was rated at 230 miles per gallon, making the price of gas nearly irrelevant. Well, I would say I can go 230 miles on 1 gallon of gas.
It's amazing. That pays for the car. In most cases, that would pay for the car.
Pays for the car, except, and here's the thing about the electric car. And you got to address this because it's a reality. And environmentalists and progressives don't want to deal with this fact, but it is a fact. Yes, if we all move over to electric cars, we are going to be off foreign oil, which I think is the primary issue here. Getting us out of these war zones, stopping us from being held hostage. Our daily life is being held hostage by people in foreign countries who have the stuff that we need to keep our daily life going. That's good. But the real problem with electric cars is if everybody in America owned an electric car, and if everybody in America was plugging their electric car in at night, have you any idea the amount of coal that it will take to burn, to pollute the environment, to destroy whatever?
Whoa,
all
clean
of these,
coal. We're going to be using
Oh,
clean coal.
Clean coal?
Yeah.
Oh, is that how they're selling
It's
it
all
these
clean
days?
coal.
It's clean? Because electricity, of course, is produced by coal. Now, we can also switch over, and there are a lot of electric power plants that have switched over to hydroelectric, which is great. Water, wind, there's a lot of, these windmill things. Solar is also a good alternative. But again, these are 20 years away because every plant we have that's operational today is essentially a coal-burning electric plant. So just because something is electric doesn't mean that it's necessarily good for the environment, because if everybody suddenly switched over to electricizing everything, we'd just be using a lot more coal. And we'd have people trapped in mines, and then we'd be in wars in Peru because they got the good coal down there. Or Chile, or Chilean miners.
One thing that I'm having a huge problem with is like this move to like cleaner, types of energy. Did you hear that in Japan, like here we've had windmill farms, right? Where we have a very simple, what looks like a fan set up, and that generates a little bit of electricity for us. Well, in Japan, they did something revolutionary. What they did is they took that very same fan and put a perimeter around it, like a little ring, and it made it twice as efficient. That's what it took.
How did they know to do that?
I guess the guy was just like, hey, you know what would look cool? And like they did this, and it made it twice as efficient. So now we have a wind farm that we have to completely update because one guy comes up with such a simple idea.
Well, good.
Well, yeah, it is good, but like there should be a lot of money being pushed into this direction where that kind of stuff should have been done a long time ago.
You know what? Want to know where there's money? I mean, I spend my time sitting around trying to think of where there's money. Right? There are 3 areas where I could see there's just money to be made. 4, actually. I combined 1, but here's 3 areas where there's always going to be money to be made. Okay, 1, the gay market. Pander, whatever you need to do to gays. They got nothing but expendable income. They don't have kids. They will spend money on the most ridiculous crap. And, there you go. That is the gay market. There is so much money. Gays fly first class. Gays go on vacations. Gays go to the mall on weekends and actually buy stuff. Unlike the rest of us who go to malls just because we need to get out of the house.
This sounds amazing.
Gays. And hey, look, you bigots or whatever, you intolerant freaks. Gays money spends just as well as straight money. So gays is one. The other one I'll tell you is the one that I combine, okay? Kids and pets. Find something that appeals to babies or something that appeals to Rover, and you've got $1 million. Kids and pets, it's another market. People will spend ridiculous amounts of money if it's for their doggy, or if it's for, seriously, you go, if I were to go to Walgreens and buy a rubber ball, the rubber ball would be $1. If I walked 2 aisles over from the toy aisle to the dog aisle, that same rubber ball is $7 because now it's got a little thing in it that goes ling, 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 ling. It's like it's ridiculous. I mean, the prices for dogs, pets, kids stuff so expensive. Little plastic cup, 50 cents at Walmart. Little plastic cup in the kids aisle, $5 at Walmart. Well, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, and the third, where there's always going to be money, is green energy, and that's today. That's today, right now. I thought about, like, you ever watch that show, Sam or Jimmy, the new Don Cheadle show on Showtime?
Yeah, I love that show.
Boy, that has got me thinking about the business of consultant. That is such a scam. The very idea that you can just open up a business and basically then go to other businesses and say, look, I'm going to charge you a whole lot of money, and I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong. That's ridiculous to me that anyone would pay that. But they do. In the corporate structure, everybody is covering their ass. So at the local level of a like say a 3-tier corporate structure, if you've got a guy with maybe $1 million budget and he's afraid of getting in trouble from the higher ups, he's got to do something that looks like he's doing something to fix things. So he hires a consultant who comes in, cashes the check, and does nothing. I love that idea. Here's what I want to do. Who's with me? I want to call every community, taxpayer dollars. I want to call every community in America and tell them that we work for Green Something Consultants, and we will come in and we will show you how to save money. And that's a ridiculous check. Oh, and by the way, we only fly to your little town first class. We only stay in 4-star hotels. All of these things. It's amazing.
We used to we were running a lot of different shows for like businesses and things like that. They'd each get like an hour at a time doing it. And there was a guy who was like kind of like a new guy. He was wanting to try it out. And he was one of these green companies that would do exactly what you're talking about. And I looked at him because he seemed like one of those guys that, in his 20s he was really slacking off, but in his 30s he was like, I think I might do something.
I think I might work.
Yeah, so like in one of the breaks, I turned to him. I'm like, so what did you do to actually get into this? He was like, oh, I saw it on the internet. There's a few different things that you can buy that will tell you how efficient certain things are. It's about $300 for the entire package. And now I just go to places and tell them what they're doing wrong.
Here's how it works. Call up, bring, bring, bring. City of Forney, Texas.
Yeah.
Hazel speaking. Hi, Hazel. Wondering if I could speak to Luke. Find all this on the internet. The city manager. Oh, hold on, please. I'll put you through to Luke. Hi, I'm from Green. So you got to come up with the name. The name's got to sound legit.
Yeah.
And the name's got to sound Fortune 400. The name's got to sound like, but it also has to speak to the sort of, you got to know from the name that this is environmental.
Yeah.
Say, look, I've been going, hey, you BS them.
Yeah.
Look, I've been going over your city stuff. Do you realize that you are not unlike most cities in America? You're wasting upwards of 50% of your possible energy. Look, I'd like to come on by. Let's have a talk about this. I've got a way that I can save you. That's all it takes.
Yep.
Taxpayer dollars. They'll get on some you'll go to some city council meeting and they'll vote on it. All right, up for vote. Who wants to make our city cleaner? Me, everybody. Boom, gavel it out. Write me a check. And you know what we do? Then we come to the town. We get a little office, like in Parks and Recreation. I always think of when they introduced Adam Scott and Rob Lowe as the characters. They were brought in from Indy to sort of oversee the town to make sure. That's like that. They give you a little office. You stay there for a couple of weeks. And you know what you do in the couple of weeks that you're there? You play with the big budget that they've given you to make their city green. And then you call some freaking solar company. And you go, we need to put some solar panels on a police station. You guys get down here? How much you charge?
How good can you make it look?
How good can you make it look? How much can you charge? How low of a price? Look, we're going to be in business here. I'm going to go from town to town doing this. Basically, you're a salesperson for the solar companies or for whatever, the green technology companies. Money, money, money.
It is genius, especially going to the places where it is going to be tax dollars, unfortunately, because really, I've always
not
felt...
unfortunately. Better it goes to me, because the bottom line is we actually are going to do stuff to make it better.
Yeah.
It's just a scam. You just don't need me.
Yeah.
You could have just picked up the phone and called the solar company on your own.
It's true.
But you didn't think of it, and I did, so now I'm the middleman.
It just feels like government money is like, if you work for like a company, a lot of times like at the old place, I would just write off on things that were going to be paid, $350, $300, no big deal. I was even able to write those things out. But it wasn't my money. I didn't care if you were overcharging. With the city, I think that's the same way. And no one is at the top saying, whoa.
Who's going to care?
Yeah, everyone just, no, okay.
Yeah, no one's gonna care.
Yeah.
Just as long as you don't get some people there, we wasted. No, we didn't waste money. We're trying to. And really, at the end of the day, look, we're trying to do good. Man, why are you seriously? We tried to do something good. Why are you being such a jerk about it? Sorry, it didn't work out. Sometimes these things don't.
Do you not like the Earth?
Do you not like this? Like, you are on the side of the angels in your argument. You
Yeah.
know, and it's like, whatever, move on to the next town. Ring, ring, Jasper, Texas. I mean, it's just, you just call the next town.
Good to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we're talking about the 5 brands that have been damaged the most, American or world brands. American Airlines has been damaged. Rush Limbaugh as a brand has been damaged. The nation of Greece has been damaged. The NFL's New Orleans Saints have been damaged. And we just talked about the Chevy Volt as being a damaged brand. Now we're on to number 1. This is interesting. Number 1. The number 1 most damaged brand in America. You see what it is?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think of that, Sam, before we tell people?
That doesn't seem like it should be number 1.
Keith Olbermann is the number. He has been damaged. I can tell you, as someone when he first debuted on MSNBC 10 years ago or whatever, I liked the show. I liked him. Then he went a little bit too far. He became everything that I hate about Bill O'Reilly. He became just on the polar opposite.
Right.
It says here, current TV went through. And here's the other thing that doesn't help Keith Olbermann. Okay. Take a guy like Bill O'Reilly. Okay. Bill O'Reilly, you may have serious political opposition to. You may not like a damn thing that comes out of his head. But most of the people that are around O'Reilly, the worst thing that they say is that he's an arrogant ass. People say he's nice, he's friendly, he's not. He's the kind of guy that will show up on Friday night with the camera guys and all that at the watering hole down the street and have a couple of beers with the guys. I mean, he's an arrogant ass, like hanging out with any NFL football player.
Yeah.
But aside from that, they're decent people. Like not a horrible, good dude.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick up the tab for this round. You guys enjoy. Good work. That kind of guy.
That's good to hear, actually.
Keith Olbermann is not that guy.
Oh.
Keith Olbermann is a massive dick. And everyone who has ever worked for him, Keith Olbermann believes that he is far smarter than everyone else. He believes that everyone else is just wasting his time because they're not on his level. He is mean. He is. Well, here's a good example. And this was the first thing that Current TV, after they parted ways with Keith Olbermann about a month ago, it's one of the first things they said. They had to go through 8 different car services for Keith Olbermann because Keith Olbermann didn't like any of the cars that they sent.
Wow.
Or, no, I'm sorry, more specifically, the people who were driving the cars. Keith complained to Current TV.
That's even worse.
I know. Yeah, I know. Keith complained to Current TV, and this is one of the things that they threw out there when he parted ways. He complained to Current TV that he didn't like these people talking to him. So if you picked up Keith Olbermann and you said anything to him or tried to strike up a conversation, forget about it. It was your last time. He was going to complain to somebody, and your company was either not going to get the account, or you were going to be requested not to be the driver.
Unbelievable.
That says a lot about somebody.
Yeah, especially that he doesn't actually say it to the driver. Hey, I'm actually not in the mood to talk right now. I wouldn't mind that if I'm a driver.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. But you're going to go out of your way to go make the complaint to somebody else so that he gets fired?
Yeah. It says here, Olbermann had joined Current TV in February of 2011 after a successful but rocky stint at MSNBC, where he was the cable network star with an average audience of about 750,000 viewers. Which,
Really? That doesn't seem like as many as I would think, I guess.
It's not. Bill O'Reilly has like 5 million.
Okay, yeah.
So, but he was the star at MSNBC, so, again, it's not Kate Upton. It's,
Right.
It's a bell curve. Obama had joined the organization in February after a successful but rocky stint at MSNBC, where he was the cable network star, with an average audience of about 750,000 viewers. But he alienated network management and was suspended for 2 days in November of 2011 for making political donations that he failed to disclose to his bosses. Now it looks as if one of the most popular TV personalities will not make regular appearances on the small screen for a very, very long time, if ever. So yeah, he doesn't know where he's going. Nobody wants to hire him. He's been hired and fired from basically everything, from CNN to Fox. He actually worked for Fox for a period of time, like 10, 15 years ago in the early days. And it's all because he's supposedly a jerk.
Yeah.
I find him entertaining. I really do. I love his commentaries.
Yeah.
So self-righteous. but I do love those. You, sir, have, like
Right,
I love that. Who do you think you are?
It almost goes like Old Testament to a point.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah. But I like it. I'm entertained by it, and I can look past that.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Those are the 5 most damaged brands right now: American Airlines, Rush Limbaugh, the New Orleans Saints, the Nation of Greece, the Chevy Volt, and Keith Olbermann coming in at number 1 most damaged. All right, I guess that's about it, right?
Hey, an update on Junior Seau.
Yeah.
He killed himself. Police found him shot. He shot himself.
Wow.
Okay, so it won't be his biggest story. Oh, actually, now it'll be a much bigger story. Because how many head injuries did he have? How many concussions did he
It
have?
was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest.
How do football players deal with not being in football anymore? That's going to be another thing that they're probably going to do.
Well, there is a huge... Obviously, we saw last season the introduction of the NFL's new guidelines on how to treat concussions. We're seeing it in every sport. In basketball, you get a concussion, you got to sit out the next game. But in football, if you were deemed to have a concussion, you didn't play the next week. And it's because there are a bunch of old football players, retired guys who have been out for years, who are experiencing dementia in their 50s. Much younger than a normal person would go through these, senility episodes. And they're saying that it's from the blows to the head. It's from the multiple concussions that have now caused these guys' brains to be like pudding in their 50s. And we had last year, it was a very big story last year when Dave Duerson, one of the 85 Bears, laid down in his bedroom and basically blew his head off, left a note, said, "This is why I did it." I'm sorry, he didn't blow his head off. He blew his chest off because in the note, he specifically said, "I want my brain studied for the effects of concussions," because he had been so depressed.
Wow.
And depression is one of the things that comes along with multiple concussions. And it's not like, see, this is the thing. I suffer from depression, and I know it's a very real thing. And there are people out there who would probably say, just get up and do something. It's not. It's a brain thing. You can't just get up. You can't just snap out. I wish it was that easy, but it's not. And when a guy puts a shotgun to his chest, he's not faking it.
Yeah.
The option isn't just get out of bed and grab a shovel. That's not. I mean, that kind of suicide is pretty sincere. So Dave Duerson was a very big case of that last year, and that started the whole NFL's really focusing on concussions. And now, today, a star, the magnitude of Junior Seau, a Hall of Famer, one of the great players of his generation, did this, killed himself. Now you got to ask why. And of course, the first thing they're going to say is head injuries. How many head injuries did he have? How many times did he suffer? Was he in treatment for depression due to head injuries? And Sam read the story a little bit earlier. The dude drove his car off a cliff.
Yep.
A couple of years ago. He had a fight with his girlfriend and drove his car off a cliff. He survived, and everyone said it was a suicide attempt, and he said, no, it wasn't. It was cool. It was an accident. Now here we are a couple of years later. It was suicide this time.
How hurt was he after he drove off of a cliff?
I don't know. He's Junior Seau. He's a badass.
I know. He's one of the few people that I can actually see getting out of that car and just being like, oh.
Yeah. When I think of Junior Seau, just for people who don't know him, I picture The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. In my mind, that's what he looks like. He doesn't look exactly like that, but in my mind, in his glory days of playing, because I believe he's like Hawaiian or Samoan, something like that.
Yeah.
Junior Seau. So he's got the dark. He looks like The Rock. He's very.
He was one of the only people, because I am a big Raiders fan, that I would watch on the Chargers, and even when he would sack the quarterback of the Raiders, I'd be like, damn, that guy's good.
Yeah.
I would just appreciate the talent instead of hating him. And I will hate people that are talented. And we're going to be playing Peyton Manning this year, and I can't wait to doubt that guy's talent.
He was super good. And, okay, so there you have it. That's the breaking news today. Junior Seau, legendary NFL football player, apparently has killed himself. And I'm sure there will be a lot more written about that. All right, anything else? Anything we need to get into?
No.
No, looks pretty much it.
That's about it. Tomorrow, you guys do this again tomorrow?
Actually, there's 2 more shows today, right? At 4 to 6.
4 to 6 is going to be Y&R, and then at 8 to about 11 is Big Dave.
8 or 7?
Oh, 7 to 10. There we go. That's better.
All right, very
I'm used
good.
to
So
8.
all that coming up, thebarlive.com. Again, it's a work in progress, folk. Watch as it develops, or just come back when we tell you to. You know, before we get the house ready for the big party, and that's really what thebarlive.com is. We'll let you know.
Oh, when Brandy gets the pool area cleaned up, we'll do the pool party.
Yeah. Well, I was speaking more metaphorically
Yeah.
about it, but yes, that would be good. That would be good. Maybe have a big listener invite pool party here. We'll do some grilling. We'll get a keg out there. Have a bunch of pretty girls in bikinis because, as we discussed earlier today, that is how you get hit counts. I don't know why there aren't go-go girls standing behind us during every damn show.
Yeah,
We're going to have to
neither.
talk to Brandon about this, actually. I think that you're onto something.
You know, it's all about them damn hit counts.
I think that might help with clicks.
Yeah. Check it out, thebarlive.com. Bye, folks. Oh, sorry. Leave me on. Twitter, you can follow me at Pugs & Co. on Twitter. You can also find me on Facebook, John Pugs. Sam, anything for you?
Just go to redcarpetcrush.com, and we'll have to get into it tomorrow. But don't sue me if you don't win passes. If you win passes.
Sam, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right. We have more. We'll get into it tomorrow.
All right. They'll be back tomorrow. It's thebarlive.com.